Hare Krishna, Dana Pranam, Sajidananda. Krishna, Sajidananda Prabhu. Welcome back to Kane.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Glad to be back. Prabhu, tell me we should start or we should wait a little more?
Little more time, Roji. Give me 5 minutes more.
Sure. No issue.
Let them join now.
Yeah, I see that only a few devotees have joined, so maybe we can wait a little more. Glad to be back. Prabhu, tell me we should start or we should wait a little more?
Little more time, Roji. Give me 5 minutes more.
Sure. No issue.
Let them join now.
Yeah, I see that only a few devotees have joined, so maybe.
Hare Krishna, welcome all our devotees for our today's session. We are very fortunate to have His Grace Ajidananda Das Prabhuji from Mayapur Gurukul, and Prabhuji is disciple of His Holiness Radha Sai Maharaj, and he is trained under His Holiness Srila Bhakti Vidya Purna Maharaj, and he is doing studies in Vedic scriptures, and he is a very prominent teacher in this Gurukul also. So we are so fortunate to have with us today on this Purusha-Prakriti masculine and feminine principles topic. So this is the second part of that discourse. So on behalf of all Kanya Desh devotees, we will welcome Prabhuji by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna. You
Krishna.
can
Yes,
start,
Prabhu.
Madhav. By the time all people will join.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu, so much for your kind introduction. And we'll start by repeating some of the points from yesterday, which we consider very important. So yesterday we have said one of the essential teachings of Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition in Chaitanya Charitamrita is Bhagavan Sambandha Bhakti Avideya Haya Prema Prayojana Vedatina Vastu Haya, or that the Supreme Lord is the central point of all relationship, that devotional service is the real process for attainment the Supreme Lord, and the prema or love of Godhead is the goal of all relationships. So with this understanding, we will proceed. And as we have yesterday explained, the Sambandha Bhagavan means the God who is giving us existence to all energies. And the Prayojana is the feminine aspect, which is always giving experience to Supreme Lord Bhagavan. So Bhagavan is the Sambandha, the God who is giving existence, and the Prayojana is the feminine aspect, which is making different arrangements for love of Supreme Lord. So in this way, we see that masculine principle is always looking towards feminine, and the feminine, which is Prayojana experience, always looking towards the masculine principle. That is the eternal unity of two principles, and the most beautifully exemplified in divine couple of Shri Radha Krishna. And these principles are expanded everywhere in universe. From Radha Krishna comes Lakshmi Narayan, Shiva Parvati, Brahma and Saraswati, Indra and Sachi, etc. And all couples in this way, in this world, are actually expansion of Srimati Radharani and Lord Shri Krishna. So by seeing a couple, they should remind us on the Supreme Lord and his divine companion. So just by seeing the couple in this world, we can remind ourselves. This can be the inspiration for us to remember the divine couple. So the couple who is following the qualities of the Supreme Lord and his devotees, they are very much inspiring others to take and to acquire these divine qualities by themselves. So in that way, everything in this world can be udipan, or the stimulus for devotional service. Our only problem is illusion that we don't see that. Illusion is when we see a world separate from Krishna. That is a real illusion. But through these teachings, we can learn and revive our original state of consciousness, and that is to be devotees of Krishna, to revive our Krishna consciousness. So from this point, we can continue today that yesterday we spoke about the different bhavas or emotions, and that the main is Sthayi bhava, the permanent emotion, that the affection on which we should develop our relationship, not on some secondary rasas like laughter or chivalry or like a sports and humor and things like that. We should develop relationship on real and steady affection, and this relationship that can last for a whole life and afterlife as well. So one of such bhavas is also anubhava, and it's divided on udipan and alamban. Udipan is the teaching that everything can stimulate our consciousness and remind us on Krishna. That means that if we would see the float would remind us on Krishna. If we would see the peacock feather, it would remind us on Krishna. Just like when mother sees the small shoes of her child, reminds her on child, because the shoes are child's shoes. In that way, they are connected. So in this world, actually, everything is also connected from the Lord, because it's coming from the Lord. Nirbande Krishna Sambande. And therefore, everything in this world can remind us on Krishna and stimulate our devotion towards him. On another hand, there is alambana, or alambana means that there is a vishaya, or the object of love, and there is a ashraya, or the subject of love, or the shelter of love. So the vishaya is the beloved, and the ashraya is lover. The topmost object of love is Lord Shri Krishna. Therefore, we say that he is vishaya for us, but Srimati Radharani is the ashraya, or the shelter of that love. She is the lover. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a verse where Krishna is saying that love of Srimati Radharani is a real teacher for him. That is interesting. In teachings of Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, we are finding that Brahmana is the teacher for all society. The sannyasi is teacher even for Brahmanas. For sannyasi, the Supreme Lord is teacher. But for the Supreme Lord, the teachers are Rajavasis. And among them, the Srimati Radharani is the real teacher, the topmost teacher of love. And Krishna is stating that in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So it is beautiful to see how Krishna is respecting that love which someone have for him, the love of Srimati Radharani for him. And as yesterday we have said, he is admiring it so much that he is willing to accept her role and appear as a Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's something very wonderful. So the teachings of Vishaya and Ashraya, the living being is actually always looking for love. And instead of trying to be loved, we should love. Because we see that people who are just looking for love, eventually they are looking for some attention, and they are not willing to reciprocate. They're just trying to receive something from another side. But instead of that, we should focus more on giving love. And we see that as soon as we give love to someone, that that love will be reciprocated. So, and the person who is loving, he is many times even doesn't care if he's not loved. For example, mother, she gave a commitment when the child was born that I will love this child no matter what, despite everything. The child can do so many nonsense in life, maybe even criminal activities or something similar. But mother's commitment for the child is so strong that she will always protect and love that child. So we should focus more on offering love than receiving love in life. And the living being is actually created for nothing else except giving that love to Krishna. We got this life to love, and therefore we should have the love for a life and love for Krishna. We should love our life, that we got this opportunity, human form of life, that we got our parents, that we got our relatives, that we got a spiritual master finally, that we got Srila Prabhupada, we got association of great devotees, and finally we got the opportunity to serve Krishna. So we should love that life which we got. We should never forget that. And the living being is actually always in that position of being servant or lover. As we have yesterday mentioned that the living being is always serving. Even when we are doing activities in this world, we are always serving. For example, we are using this technology. We are thinking that this technology is used by us, but we are used by technology. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives one very nice example regarding Visha and Ashraya. He's saying about Rasagula. The Rasagula looks like an object of our enjoyment, but actually we are enjoyed by Rasagula. When we are tasting Rasagula, we are the enjoyed one. Because the Rasagula, that sweetness of Rasagula, is the real enjoyer. We are relishing the qualities of Rasagula. Our tongue is the ashraya, or the shelter of these tastes. Our tongue need to adjust towards the Rasagula, is dependent on sweetness of Rasagula, and therefore we are actually depend on the ashraya, the feminine position in this sense. So it's very interesting how in all positions we are the servants. So by this we can say that the mechanics of relationship are working, that masculine is always thinking me, I and mine, aham mameti. In this way, we are borrowing this mental state, but originally belongs to God. God is thinking about his creation, how to expand his creation, and he's considering it his. Therefore, this original concept of me, mine, is always applicable. But that also, if we have this concept in our life, that means that if something is ours, means that we are ours. Not that I have something or someone belongs to me and I don't care for him. So the responsibility comes with facility. If we have some facility, we need to be responsible for that. Or we have some subordinates, we need to take responsibility for them. And Krishna is the most perfect in that, because we see that even in this world, he is taking care for all living beings. He's providing us food, he's providing us water, he's providing us shelter, providing us sun, and all necessity for successful life. So the Supreme Lord is the original creator, and as a creator, he is independent, and the creation is dependent on him. Because creation is created, naturally depends on the source. So in the same way, the masculine and feminine principles are working. That the masculine is creator, and the feminine principle is creation. So all of us are actually creation or creatures of God. We are created by God. So that would, in practical life, mean masculine principle, or the man is creating woman. In a sense, if someone is good father with good qualities, then his daughter will be more feminine. So the more someone is masculine, that is creating more feminine qualities in opposite. So that is the role of the two. And uh, uh, it's important to know also that uh, if we are expanding in life, in the sense that we are creating some family, or we are having some role in a management, or etc., that if we are expanding, that means protection. Protection is masculine mode, and we need to interact with other portion of our creation in a feminine mode. That means that uh, that uh, that that because opposite, or the feminine position, can be in a more weaker position, we need to interact with gentleness and tenderness. So that is always there. Therefore, someone who is gentleman is always appreciated in society. In our daily dealings, if we connect our nature to the Creator, that is called the piety or dharma. But if our nature is not connected to Creator, that is impiety, so, or adharma. So in order to be connected God, we need to follow our nature and offer that nature to Krishna as he have created it. But the mood in which we are offering, it's also depending on us, because we are the feminine. And Krishna is saying that in Bhagavad Gita, if one surrenders unto me, I reward them accordingly. So as one surrenders unto me, that is feminine position. As I reward them accordingly, that is masculine position. So Krishna is, as a masculine, he's satisfied, and he's not demanding from his devotees. But everyone is getting opportunity of his association as in a proportion how much he is surrendering. So Krishna, we see that Krishna is giving us opportunity and free will to surrender for our own desire, because no one can force love. Krishna prefers more creation where everyone will spontaneously serve and love, instead of forcing others to serve him. So that is very interesting. And he is, in that sense, allowing that attraction can be naturally, spontaneously developed. So because relationship means attraction, and from attraction comes attachment. As Bhagavad Gita is saying, even someone is contemplating on the sense object, that is created last, and from last attachment, etc. So first, from attraction, contemplating the sense objects, comes attachment. And when there is attachment, then there is a consideration, or we give some significance to other person. Therefore, women in the position, they want to feel significant in man's life. Not only women, but everyone who is in any feminine position. We want to feel a certainty that we mean something to others. Our children, they feel that they mean something to others. If there is no that consideration or significance in life, there is inconsideration that that means that there is a detachment, that other person is detached from us. He doesn't mean anything to me. There is no attraction for us. There is aversion. And if there is aversion, then there is no relationship. So in order to heal our relationship and to heal relationship also with Krishna, we need to make understanding of consideration that Krishna means something to us, and in our personal lives we need to give to others understanding that certainly, definitely they mean something to us. We said that the man's means existence. Existence means something permanent. We cannot sometime be available and sometime not available. If we are not available, then action cannot be created. No, the person is feeling unsecure with us. So therefore, the female part that never likes men who are irresponsible because they cannot count on them. So that is very, very important. I would say one of the most important things which we need to practice in our lives, in Krishna consciousness, and in also in our family lives. Because if there is a consideration for us that someone loves us, that will create confidence in relationship, and confidence will bring satisfaction. That relation, we will always be able to relate with some person. There is inconsideration, there is unconfidence, people are feeling insecure, and it's only frustration. So therefore we need to very much work on this aspect. So I will proceed to some another things just to cover many important points that yesterday we mentioned how living is a marginal position, and that can choose sort of either the external energy or internal energy, and some of us have chosen to serve external energy from time immemorial, Adi Bahir Mukha. So the living being is now covered by the material energy, and therefore we are acquiring female or male bodies. So the conditioning of living being will be mentioned. So as we know, the Supreme Lord is Sachitananda Vigraha, is the eternal form of knowledge and bliss. And he is enjoying his energies in spiritual world, but in this world, these energies, Sachitananda, are reflected into three gunas, and the Sat or Sandini energy, which is Lord Balaram himself, this world is reflected into Tamoguna. The sweet energy, which is Yoga Maya or Subhadra Devi, in this world is reflected into passion. And Hladini Shakti, which is Mata Dharani, in this world is reflected into Sattva Guna. So Sandini, which is masculine, in this world becomes Tamaguna. So Tamaguna in world means the, as Bhagavatam is saying, the creation that the Tamaguna is represented by Ahankara, by sense objects, and sense enjoyment. Therefore, in this world, we see that the men are always competitive because of ahankara. That if two men having some differences of opinions, they will always quarrel. No? This is because of ahankara and tamoguna. And men always are into some material objects like cars or technology. So they're always looking for that. And woman, as we said, is the reflection of Latin in this world, the Sattva Guna. So Sattva Guna means mind. So the women always are dealing with emotions. And they want steady emotions. They want something on they can rely, and that is very important. So in life, the man will always go for boga or the enjoyment, and woman will go for aishwarya or the opulence. Therefore, man is always producing goods for enjoyment, and then woman is further developing these goods into opulence, in a sense that man is creating a house, which is masculine principle, and woman is creating home, which is feminine principle. So the house is a structure of existence where family is existing, and woman is creating the atmosphere of the home. So the two are very compatible, and they are going together. It is very important to understand that, because in our daily life, in the share the roles of life, to know how that is functioning. And one Shlapa disciple have said that in my house, I am the GBC, and my wife is temple president. So it means that GC or masculine is creating the rules and opportunity for interaction, but when things are unfolding, the external ambience of interaction is created by female, by feminine position. So obviously we have different mentalities, and only by using our conditioned nature in proper way, natural way, we will will be able to cooperate for the benefit of everyone. Furthermore, on the mindset of men and women. So every man have masculine mindset, every woman have a feminine mindset. As yesterday we have said that man is getting this form because of nishkama karma, or the tendency to perform duties, and woman is having feminine mindset because of sakama karma, or the tendency to enjoy the results of a work. So it is a slight difference in the two activities, and they're reflected into our mindset functioning. So the man is man's mindset, or the subtle body, is always working separately, either false ego, intelligence, or mind. So for the man, mind, intelligence, ego are always functioning separately. For woman, false ego, intelligence, and mind, they are always working together. So the man who can separate intelligence from the mind, he can separate emotions from intelligence. Therefore, man can be more intelligent. Therefore, men are more into philosophy and can discuss more philosophical things because of absence of that false identity and emotions. But a woman is more clever because of presence of identity and emotions always with intelligence. Then she's able to trick someone or to by influencing others by emotions, get something, some benefit for her and family. So many times we hear how man is more intelligent, but we should also know that woman is more clever because of that. So the man, if man is working on the level of intelligence, that is a very good him. But if man becomes mental, then he needs help from someone else to overcome that mental state. Therefore, man need the help of a woman, his wife, or a friend to overcome some grief or something unpleasant. And it's also men's when they become mental, they go into some extreme, like extreme sports, or they can be in a cave like a yogi or something like that. So they can do something very extreme. There is not many women who are going into extreme sports because some intelligence is always there with mind. Yes, with emotions. But for man, if he's switching his intelligence, then he is doing activities which may not be beneficial for him. So both have advantages and disadvantages. And if we prefer one or the other side, that means that we are still having some values for conditioned life. So we should know how to use the conditioned life for a spiritual advancement, but not to be more overcome by using our present position. So the men's, because of the absence of emotions, in many cases they can go more impersonal, and therefore they can be insensitive. We know that many times men's are rough, and that's true, no? And the woman, because of presence of emotions, they become too sentimental and personal. So we need to find the how to balance internally and externally our nature with social needs. So men are more, because of that intelligence, which is free from emotions, they are internally better. So men are internally good because their emotions and intelligence can work separately. But men are externally bad. Externally bad in the sense that men can leave mess around, dirty socks, dirty clothes, unwashed dishes. So that is one disadvantage. And women, because of presence of emotions, they are internally bad, but they are externally good because they are seeing external aesthetics. They are beautifying everything, and etc. So therefore, the best combination is when in an environment there is men's internal state and women's external. The bad combination is when are man is ruling external things, woman is ruling internal things. So we need to know how to combine two opposites for good of both sides, because we are given different portions of our life to rule them. So good combination, I'm repeating, is man's internal state and woman's external state. And bad combination is man's external state and woman's internal state. In order to achieve something substantial and consistent in our life. Vedic education is teaching two main points for boys and girls, and the boys are usually taught discipline and just a second, trying to remember, discipline and sensitivity, and woman is taught chastity and satisfaction. And why are these two most important things to learn? Because men, as I said, they externally can be messy. So the man needs to learn discipline, how to perform duties. And men can be rough, insensitive. Therefore, men need to learn sensitivity. So that is something very much different than it's propagated in modern world. The understanding that man is rough and that he should, the masculinity means that someone who is insensitive doesn't care for other emotions. It's actually very much opposite. The man is self-satisfied and taking care for others, just like Supreme Lord is satisfied but still taking care of others. And the women are learning chastity to her own man and satisfaction, because woman is learning satisfaction because it is known that woman likes opulence in different sorts of um, assets, like a house or decoration in the house and the different types of clothing or jewelries, ornaments, etc. So it's very important to learn satisfaction, because the opportunities to be unsatisfied are unlimited. We can take more and more, and finally will never be satisfied. So two are main points for each side to learn in in Vedic tradition. And without these two, the society cannot function properly. So if boys and girls are properly educated, then their matching in life, matching of the personalities will be easy. And many times go for astrology checking and checking our chart, and the chart may be matching, but the couple may have difficulties in their social and spiritual life. And why is that? Because they don't have the same culture, same training, same lifestyle. So the most important is to have the same training and education, same lifestyle, then match properly. Compatibility is created based on same lifestyle, same culture. Yesterday we have also mentioned how the similarities are attracting each other. Similarities are attracting each other, and opposites are creating variety in relationship. The Western philosophy is that opposites are attracting each other, and that is just superficial, not create any certainty in our relationship. The similarities are attracting each other, and that means that person is having the same culture, lifestyle, and therefore they can be certain in values of other person, and the differences are just creating variety, creating some passion in life. So the prerequisite for good relationship, actually good matching, and match should be based on culture, and that culture will create natural affection natural attraction between the two persons. In Western tradition, we see that the attraction is on the bodily platform, and from that, someone falls in life and in love, and they want to create a marriage life from that. But in Vedic tradition, the attraction is a result of a good matching between two persons. So the attraction will be the result of having the same qualities and values, and then that relationship can last for whole life. And just because of that point that in West everyone is looking the attraction on bodily platform, there is such a great number of divorces. In Vedic times, even in recent times, our grandparents, they even didn't know what is divorce. It was such an awkward thing. But today, because of proper, improper attraction, then everything is ruined. The whole family life is ruined, creating such a issues that person for many years can overcome that. And in the world life is then that person is also cannot focus. It's losing his stability in spiritual life. So the matching of two persons is very important, and therefore in Vedic tradition there is no such a thing as a dating. There is a dating in when couple are meeting each other with parents and in private when they are trying to discuss the main points of life, like the location where they're going to live, how they're going to earn money, what is their goals in life, what is the achievements which they have till now in life. So that dating is not something only emotional, but it is also intellectual. Because if two persons cannot uh, speak about important things in life before they have created bodily attraction, they will never be able to speak about that. Because when that bodily attraction is there, then because of that emotion, they are not able to think about uh, important things in life that become secondary. So in Vedic tradition, by matching is ensured that two persons are speaking about important things in life before that attraction is created. And the one of other disadvantages of modern dating is that everyone will be very much careful in dating until they come to a point of engagement and especially marriage. Why is like that? That we are showing our better part of face because we want to attract someone, we want to feel loved by the person, and we want to also maybe control that person. But when someone is commitment, like official commitment during marriage, then we are not so much uh, 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 how to say, we are not so much reluctant to reveal our second part of the face. So many times we have wrong expectations from opposite persons, but which are revealed only when someone gives commitment. Because if someone gave commitment, this is for life, and then whoever I am can be revealed. The person will not leave me. We are afraid the person will leave us. So we should be very honest with ourselves, and we know who we are and how we are presenting ourselves to others, and we expect from others. Otherwise, we will always have this illicit relationship, and we cannot learn from each other out ourselves even. You see, it is very important to understand how Krishna is creating the whole creation, actually to understand him better, to know himself, to be self-realized. Because in an unmanifested state of creation, Krishna knows himself in potency. He knows that he is unlimited and that he can do whatever he is desiring, Satyam Sankalpa. But he is knowing himself only when he is manifesting this Krishna and through relationship with his devotees, how he is interacting, how others are reacting on his actions. So that is real self-realization, the actualization of our inner potencies. So Krishna is in the same way giving us opportunity of living in community where we can realize ourselves. And if something is going wrong in our social life, that means that that is a signal for us that we're doing something wrong. Because material energy is also reciprocating with us as we are uh, according to our mood. Actually, if for example we can see that sometime in the most vulnerable situations, in some grief or pain, there is no one to help us, and this is because we are looking for the position of being a victim, and a victim is someone who can help himself, but he is not taking proper actions. So if we have expectations, then things will happen in life. For example, it is known that if we want something in this world, we cannot get it. But if we don't want it, it is ours. So it is very interesting. And the only solution is actually to be renounced. If we don't want things, then things will happen. We allow the Krishna, we allow this material energy to help us. But if we want things, if we demand things, then we don't see how the another side is reciprocating with us. And then they leave us to be in our state of consciousness, which we want. So it is very important to read our heart to other person, to how to say, have real and not fake relationships. The fake relationships will never be satisfied. So there's many more teachings which we can say, but we have only a few more minutes, and maybe we just say about the final goal which we want to achieve, and that is the love of God, Prema. So Vedic literature is explaining that there is a four interests of human beings, and that is Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha, Chatur Purusha-Artha. In material, these are four main interests which we want to accomplish by our social, even a bit spiritual or religious duties. But teachings of Lord Chaitanya are going beyond that and saying that real Purusha Artha, or the goal of human form of life, is love of Godhead, and that these are the real teachings of real teachings of Vedic literature. So the love of Godhead and lust can look the same from the point of view of engagement of senses. If we think about gopis, sometimes people are, but these are just lusty girls and these are ordinary man stories. But the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita explaining that lust and love have different characteristics, just like an iron and gold have different natures. The iron can become rusty and gold cannot be rusty. And what is there, what are the different natures? The lust or desire to gratify one's senses is kama, no? And but the desire to please senses of Lord Krishna is prema or love. Atmendya priti vancha tare bole kam. Krishna priya priti icha dare premanam. So there is completely different scenario and the engagement senses, the different intention. Although externally may look different, same. So one is desire to please our own senses, and another is desire to please Krishna's senses. Many times we wrongly think that to renounce engagement of senses is spiritual. That is internal path. In this world, we see that engagement of senses means to develop lust, but so in personal thinking that disengagement of senses then means the spiritual, but actually real spiritual is when we are engaging our sense for the pleasure of Krishna, and in that sense the senses are properly used and person can develop love of Godhead and come to the state of reality. So the reality is something which is very much connected with our state of emotions. Srila Prabhupada is saying that the last is illusion and the prema or love of Godhead is reality. So the point is not that our senses are disengaged, but the point is how we are engaging our senses. Many times, as devotees, we think that we need to disengage our senses and be renounced. But the real renunciation actually means it's just a half of path. We renounce world of sense enjoyment just to be able to engage our senses for the pleasure of Krishna, to make beautiful arrangements that Krishna can be satisfied and the devotees can be satisfied. So that is one very important aspect, and the Lord Chaitanya have perfectly showed by his example by taking sannyas to renounce sense enjoyment, but simultaneously to be engaged in pleasing Krishna by chanting his holy name, by tasting beautiful prasadam, by worshipping Deity, and so many other activities. This topic is vast like an ocean, and it's impossible for us to fully deliberate on topic. If there is opportunity in future, we may continue with understanding of this topic. But for now, I think I would thank you all and maybe ask if there is any question for discussion. Thank you very much. Hello, Hare Krishna. Manibhushan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Bhaji, thank you very much. Anybody is having any questions? Please ask yourself. You can unmute yourself and you can ask the question.
Prabhu, can you repeat? I couldn't hear.
Hare Krishna. Anybody have questions? Please ask.
Hello. Manibhushan, I cannot. Can you repeat? I couldn't hear you.
Hare Krishna. Anybody can hear? Hare Krishna. Anybody can hear me?
Here,
Yes,
Prabhu,
yes.
here, Prabhu. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So anybody is having any questions? Please go ahead. Okay. Yes, go ahead. Sudarshan Vasudeva Prabhu, you can go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. How can I serve you?
Prabhuji, thank you for the wonderful discourse. It's not very common get to listen to such topics quite oftenly. So here, what I want to ask is that a man is born out of Nishkama Karma and a woman is born out of Sakama Karma.
Prabhu, excuse me, I don't hear properly. Something is
All right,
blocking
Prabhu, I will try
audio
to.
now. Maybe you repeat.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can you hear me now?
Can you repeat?
Yes. Am I audible now?
Yes,
Am
Prabhuji,
I?
we can hear. I think Prabhuji is having some difficulty.
Okay, Prabhu. Then I will put in the chat box.
Hello?
Hare Krishna, Ajayanda Prabhuji, can you listen to me now?
Is audible? Ajidanda Prabhu, can you hear?
I can hear, but disturbance. I cannot recognize what is Prabhuji saying.
Can you check
I
in
can
the
hear
chat
you, but
box?
I cannot hear him. So maybe problem with him.
Hare
Can
Krishna,
you check in
Prabhu.
the chat box?
No, I cannot hear.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Prabhu, if you
Ajayanda
prefer,
Prabhu, can
maybe you
you?
can ask because
1 minute, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Sudarshan Prabhu, 1 minute.
Yes, okay, Prabhu.
How we can engage our mind and intelligence to seva? Hare Krishna. One question, Prabhuji. Ajidanda
how we
Prabhu,
can
can you
engage our senses and intelligence.
mind and intelligence to seva? From Vasant Naik Prabhu.
No.
Can you please repeat?
How we can engage our
Prabhu,
mind and
Prabhu.
intelligence to seva? Can you hear? Hare Krishna, can you
Prabhu.
hear?
I have heard just one part, how we can engage our intelligence and senses into it.
Can you check in the chat
Is
box?
correct?
Possible to check the chat box?
Unfortunately, it's blocking. Maybe the question can be written in chat.
Yeah, it is already written there. It is written there. You can check in that chat box.
It's written there. Okay, I will check just to find it.
Address to everyone.
Just a second. Somehow or other, I cannot open chat now.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can you listen now? Am I audible?
Can you? Yes, Prabhu, I can hear you now.
Are you able to listen now, Prabhuji?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I
Yes,
will read
Prabhu,
out the
please
question from Vasant Naik Prabhu. I will read out the question from
Okay.
Vasant Naik Prabhu. He has requested how we can engage our mind and intelligence to service.
Okay. Oh, there is so many innumerable ways for that, but I think that the most important for us how to engage senses is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, 64 items of devotional service, and that is including dancing in the temple, cleaning the temple, making different arrangements for the deities, worshiping the deities, association with devotees. I mean, it's really innumerable, but 64 are mains. Mostly the engagement in the temple, the Pancharatrika Veda, the process of deity worship, which is explained over there. So making arrangements for Krishna's service externally with our senses, internally our emotions, because it is good to know that our spiritual process goes externally as well as internally. One, externally we are following rules and regulations, but internally we are trying to develop some mood of auspicious devotional service, anukulena Krishna. So that affection, devotion, and external engagement, they should go together, and then we can become mature. Otherwise, if we just go with external senses, engage our senses, then we become like smarta brahmanas. We think our rules and regulations are all in all. And if we just develop our internal service through mind, then we become just like sahajas. We take everything easily. So it is very important to do both. And Pancharatrika or deity worship is, in that sense, very useful. If we are not second initiated, then we can help those who are and make wonderful arrangements through helping in cooking, in helping in decorating the temple, and decorating our house as a temple to receive the Lord, to recite the prayers to the Lord, Stavapata, Agendritya, to dance for the Lord, to make garlands. It's really innumerable. No? The most pleasing ways are explained there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I think that is the answer.
Hare Krishna, Vasant Prabhuji.
Hello?
Vasant Prabhu, could you listen the answer, Prabhuji? Vasant Naik Prabhu. It was audible to me, and to most of the devotees, it was audible, I believe.
Okay, I hope that he have heard. Otherwise, you may you may transmit the message to him.
Surely, Prabhu, surely, we'll do that. Oh, yes, Prabhuji has message.
I have seen, yes.
Yes, thanks. Prabhu, now, if nobody else has come up, I will ask my question, Prabhu.
Please, Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhu, like now it is Prakriti Purusha. And so the Prakriti referred to as woman here is generally considered as a Pabayoni, you know, Prabhu. Vaishya, Shudra, and Striya.
Okay.
So when the dealing with them, especially in married life, where you are required to associate.
Excuse me.
So in the married life, men and women are required to associate.
Okay.
Grihastha life.
Okay.
So general guideline to have that relation heading towards devotional service, Prabhu.
Yes. So what is your question?
So how to make that relation more conducive for devotional service?
The relationship between man and wife.
Yeah, because especially they are not that much inclined generally. Generally, they are not that inclined towards devotional service.
So one important aspect for all grihastas is that if they're not engaged directly in devotional service, they may see things indirectly connected with Krishna, and that can purify them. Many times Srila Prabhupada is speaking about Virat Purusha or cosmic form. So our desire in material world can be engaged in Krishna service, and then that desire is not in a non-Krishna conscious position. That desire can be in Krishna consciousness. For example, someone can have desire to have a child, and that is in a sense material desire. But if someone can have that desire, then he should develop that desire in connection with Krishna. I want to have relationship in Vatsalya Rasa with my child, but him as a devotee. I will have relationship with Vatsalya Rasa, but I will make my child as a devotee. And furthermore, if we have a child like that, then we should always try to see the body, soul, and super soul in one body. So if we are just on a bodily platform, that is materialistic. If we just see the soul, it is more progressive. We are more kind towards that person. We see him more personally. But we should know that whatever qualities we have, we are admiring in another person, finally are coming from super soul. That is very interesting. For example, Lord Balaram have asked Krishna in that pastime that how that these cowherd boys and the cows and calves became even more dear to their parents and the cows. And then Krishna explained him that everyone to everyone the body is dear because there is a presence of a soul and a super soul. And the super soul is the one who gives the quality to the soul, and the soul manifests the qualities in this body. So whatever we are experiencing in relationships, whatever rasa, whatever mood we have, is actually coming from Krishna. That person is just a small fragmental portion of Krishna, and we can be aware of that small significant spiritual soul and Sri Krishna at once. So if we are aware of that, we will deal with person in a more devotional way. So that is the path of indirect seeing, and it requires more intuition, more intelligence, because you see our devotional path of main links of devotional service like a chanting holy name, reading scriptures, worshipping deities, living holy dham, associating with devotees, they give us benefit even if we are unconscious. Many times we are all very much unconscious of presence of the Supreme Lord in holy name or deities or in scriptures, but we get benefit even if we are unconscious. But for some things, you need to be conscious to get benefit. And especially that is with Vedic path, like a Devi Varnashram. You cannot get benefit if you're not conscious of things. You need to engage your senses and your intelligence to see how something is connected with Krishna. So that is how we can serve and seek for Krishna directly and indirectly. So those who are not so much to direct devotional service, they can always meditate indirectly and that be purified. So that would be the answer, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much for the detailed explanation, Prabhu. You answered my question.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Can you check? If there is no questions, Sudarshan Vaste Prabhu, you can do
Maybe some another question.
Sudarshan Vaste Prabhu, you can do that vote of thanks for Prabhuji for.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna devotees, any more questions for the day? Hare Krishna, if there are no further questions, it's a time for vote of thanks. Ajahn Prabhu, thank you very much for spending your valuable time for teaching us in these 2 days on a very important and interesting topic. So it enlightened us with the Prakriti Purusha Tattva and the aspects and the manifestations. So we all would like to thank you by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times so that you can teach us more and more in future. We are looking forward for your visit to Kanaya as soon as the COVID-19 pandemic is under control, Prabhu. We all chant Hare Krishna Mantra 3 times. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Krishna, Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Hare
Hare